In the ever-dramatic world of professional basketball, where every decision can significantly impact the trajectory of a team's future, the Philadelphia 76ers are currently facing one of their most contentious dilemmas in recent memory. The focus of their internal strife? The future of Joel Embiid, the franchise player whose leadership and skill have long been the centerpiece of the team's aspirations, but whose recent struggles have raised more questions than answers about the Sixers' direction moving forward. Sources close to the team revealed on Sunday that Embiid, the reigning MVP and one of the league's brightest stars, is now consulting with multiple doctors, exploring the possibility of surgery for his injured left knee. This decision comes after months of frustration for both the player and the organization. Embiid's determination to play despite his ongoing struggles is commendable, but it's increasingly clear that the treatments, including regular injections, have failed to yield any meaningful improvement. Despite hopes for progress, the reality is harsh. The Sixers are not getting the return they expected from their star player. Embiid's injuries have cast a long shadow over the 76ers' ambitions this season, which were supposed to culminate in a deep playoff run. Instead, they find themselves mired in mediocrity, trailing by a staggering 11 wins behind the sixth-place team in the Eastern Conference. With the playoffs looming on the horizon, even if they manage to squeak in, an early exit seems all but inevitable. In the grand scheme of things, the Sixers' championship hopes seem as distant as ever. The glaring question remains: what is the team trying to achieve by pushing Embiid through a grueling season when it's evident his body is betraying him? The situation is further exacerbated by the hefty financial commitment the 76ers have made to Embiid. Locked into a deal worth $248.1 million over the next 4 seasons, the franchise's investment in Embiid is a massive one, with no apparent path to recoup that cost if the star player's injuries continue to hamper his ability to perform at the MVP level. Some analysts, including Bobby Marks, have already raised alarms about whether this contract could go down as one of the worst in sports history, with comparisons to other infamous deals like Deshaun Watson's. What makes this situation even more pressing for the 76ers is the fact that Embiid's deal runs through 2029, meaning the team could be tied to a superstar who may never return to his peak. It is in this context that frustration within the Sixers front office begins to build. The 76ers have long been a team under the banner of the process, a rebuild that has brought mixed results but was meant to deliver an elite contender. And yet, here they are, potentially squandering their best chance to compete by prolonging a decision that seems inevitable: shut Embiid down, let him heal, and reshape the roster around him. Instead, the team continues to double down on the flawed logic of keeping Embiid on the court, even when the risk of further injury looms large. The commentary from analysts, many of whom have been critical of the team's management, reflects a growing sense of disbelief. They highlight the obvious missteps taken when the 76ers chose to extend Embiid's contract at a time when he was already showing signs of wear. In fact, some had predicted this outcome as early as his participation in the Olympics, questioning the wisdom of allowing him to play when his body was clearly not up to the task. It's a situation made worse by the fact that Embiid, who has shown incredible toughness in trying to play through the pain, is far from the dominant force he once was. For many, this saga represents a classic case of a franchise being unwilling to confront reality. The 76ers, blinded by the potential greatness of Embiid, have been unable to pivot or consider a future without him at the helm. The team has invested too much in his success, both emotionally and financially, to admit that the time might have come to move on. As a result, they are left in a dangerous limbo, unsure whether to fully commit to Embiid or cut their losses and begin anew. The underlying issue here is one of long-term vision. While it is easy to look at Embiid's past accolades, his MVP performance, his dominant play in the paint, and hope that the team's fortunes can be turned around, the reality of the 76ers situation suggests otherwise. Embiid is 31 years old next month, and history has shown that players with injury histories do not tend to improve as they age. The writing is on the wall. The Sixers may need to accept the reality that they are not going to win a championship with Embiid as their centerpiece, and as painful as it may be, the best course of action may be to move on. For all the talk of a rebuild, the Sixers front office may need to confront a harsh truth. This team is far from championship contention. The money and commitment tied to Embiid may be too great to ignore, but the opportunity for a fresh start may be the only way for the franchise to regain competitiveness in the long run. The idea of moving on from Embiid, though heartbreaking for a fan base that has invested so much in his success, might ultimately be the wisest decision for a team that still has hopes of returning to prominence.